too, because it's going to echo.
Yeah. We are live on StreamYard. So yeah, I'll mute myself for the music.
All right. See you in a sec. I'm going to go in there in just a second.
She's running.
GM lifts. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. Dude, yeah, today's a good day, man. Good Monday, good weekend. So yeah, life is good. No complaints. How about you?
Like you said, today is definitely a good day to have a good day. We've got a couple of things on the ledger. I mean, first and foremost, GM everybody, and welcome to Ink Tank episode number 8.
Diocho. Dodgeball reference?
Here, yeah, I didn't get that reference, but yeah, so but I've seen Dodgeball, to be fair, plenty of times, so it's just been a minute.
Yeah,
the Ink Tank is
cut. Sorry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Ink Tank is your spot where we're going to go ahead and talk about incubator proposals, things going on with doodles, and basically everything else in the space. If we ever get there and stop talking about doodles. So I guess you want to go ahead and just talk. I pinned up to the top. We had a new animation that came out today, and we had a little bit more narrative in there.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I was saying to somebody how this is probably the closest thing we've gotten to like a short story or a little like clip or something that has some more like apparent storytelling value to it. It's interesting.
Yeah, don't quote me, but my caption for it would have been "up to snow good."
Dang.
Boom.
That's
Well, yeah. Uh, s- s- I've seen like a dog sweater that says it on there.
yeah.
So, I thought about that.
Okay, what was your
Um,
caption? Did you put in a caption for the burnt toast popsicle thing that said like caption this?
it was something just about Texas. It was like, oh, when you try to eat ice cream in Texas.
Oh, dude.
Mine wasn't that funny, to be
I
fair.
expected better from you with the up to snow good. That's a good one. Like,
Yeah. The up to snow good was definitely a banger. I remember there was one where they even were like, oh yeah, they like encourage people to do it. I just did it because like I was like, oh man. So yeah, in terms of, I guess, Doodle's Twitter content, I think it's been ramping up, don't you think? In general, I feel like we got a lot of like art recently. I'm liking that, even though there's somebody new behind the sticks. Have definitely been missing Bianca for sure. She's definitely an OG, but we did find out she has got a pretty dope setup.
Yeah, she's got a pretty sweet gig. She's at the land of Steve Jobs, Cupertino, one Apple Way. So yeah, no, super big props to Bianca, who is heading up, what is it, corporate comms, social strategy?
Does corporate comms and social strategy. So
there you go.
A1 since day one. She does not play around.
No, that's
but
really cool.
And just to that point, right? So like you just think about who was on this team. She was previously Twitter, then she's at Doodles, now she's at Apple. I mean, it's safe to say like she is an absolute top of her game. So it was definitely great that she did get to bless this project that we have spent a lot of time in,
that we know and love. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Bianca at Apple. Oh yeah, and you were just mentioning how you felt like there was more artwork coming out of Doodles, and it definitely seems like that. The thing that was interesting to me was, and this is not like a criticism necessarily, it's more of a curiosity. It seemed like the animation today, like the frame rate was a little bit different. Like it was a little bit more like choppy, if that makes sense, which we've traditionally seen Doodles be like hyper fluid. So I was interesting. And I know like animators are totally all over that stuff. So I'm wondering if that was a conscious choice, and if so, why? I'd be very curious to know the answer to that.
Would you say, just for example, that the Moonbirds piece, do you know what that little series is called?
It's like Token, like of the diamond tree or something like that.
Yeah, like the diamond totem, something along those lines. But obviously, like Moonbird's art is pixel by nature.
Sure.
And now you have the mythics, which are like the smoother version. Like sure. If I would say, like when you saw those that little series, which we've seen a couple parts of, that it looks like they used the mythics art, or at least it was not pixelated, to say the least, right?
Yeah.
But I would say that's the animation style that they used was definitely not that like burnt toast bouncy in the Moonbirds one.
Sure. Then, totally different.
So then you jump to this one today, and I do know what you're saying. It almost had like a little bit like Japanese style to it. Like it was like a little more blurry, like you're saying. And it was like, but I just think I don't know if I've ever seen a TV show that has that like burnt toast bounce to it ever. Like how everything's just like big marshmallows, kind of like.
Well, yeah, I think there's this concept in animation. I think it's called like squish and stretch or something like that. And but it was less about that and more about like quite literally like the fluidity of the animation. It was like with each step, like as he was stepping out of the freezer, it was like chink, 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 chink. If you watch it, I don't know, pay attention for it. It's like a frame rate thing. It's interesting. And I know that doesn't fly into the nose of any animators. And so I'm curious maybe why the decision was made for that. I'm interested.
Oh, you're maybe like I see what you're saying. Like in one sense, oh, that's weird. At the end, it's like that.
Yes.
I notice it at the end for sure.
Exactly. Yep. No, and
that is so you took a way better look at it than I did.
Well, and so to be fair, like I watch a decent amount. There's this YouTube channel called Corridor Digital or Corridor Crew, and they're like a VFX studio, and they do these like breakdowns, right? Like these reactions. It's like animators react to bad and great CGI, like, and they have like 3D and 2D animators come on, and so you just learn a lot of like tricks of the trade by watching that. It's fascinating, or at least it's fascinating to me. So trying to, I mean, I'm not an animator, not even remotely close, but just trying to watch it through the lens of that, I always think is kind of interesting.
Oh, I wish we had an animator up here.
Right.
If only there was a neighborhood animator around, like an in-house one, like our critic.
A friendly neighborhood animator. Yeah. We need an animator FUD guy. Like, what's the FUD take on the latest animation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm starting to think of it, like if we built like a little bit of like a news studio, but that was like the host cast of this show. Like, how they have like a weather person, a sports person, the talking head folks that do like the politics or the community stuff. That would be kind of entertaining.
What I've learned from watching enough hours of that, CGI and 2D artists react is that it's usually one of two things, right? It's typically a creative choice where they're choosing to do it, or they ran out of money and time. Like it's always,
and that was it. Yeah,
it's always one of the other.
On a budget.
It's always one of the other. Like, well, we thought we could cut the frame rate in half and do twice, because 2D animation is typically animated one frame at a time. And so they're like, well, if we just do like half the frames, it costs half the money and time.
Takes half the time, takes a quarter of the time.
Yeah. So we'll choose to give them the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah, you know what? And obviously in the spirit of the ink tank and not the animation FUD tank, we did have a Doodles community event this past week.
Yeah. No,
we actually had two, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the one that you were in attendance at?
Yes, I was.
Oh,
so
let's get the in-person reaction first. Yeah, tell us what you went to.
Yeah, so I want to say like 2 weeks ago. You probably remember better than I do, but Kat had kind of reached out to us and was like, "Hey, we're thinking about trying to get something together for permissionless because it's like world's largest DeFi conference that was going on in Austin, Texas, and she does marketing for them. So she was going to be on the ground with all the rest of the Blockworks team. So we just went ahead and shot out the old bat signal of sorts to what do we do? Yeah, and like the grappling hook. We would have to describe
Commissioner Gordon
what it does. Yeah,
we need to have a doodle symbol. That'd be kind of sick. Oh, I think actually Pocky had an illustration done with that. He totally has.
He did. That was a fantastic. He did it for the Doodle Watch. I loved that one.
It's great.
And yeah, so we basically just came through. It was like 14 of us. And Austin pulled through as well. We went to this joint called Bar Peached. It's like a Korean Tex-Mex fusion. So just like, think like Asian flair, but on like some American Mexican dishes. So like, there's like
bulgogi tacos or something, like
kimchi tacos, like, but then there's also like Asian, like Korean barbecue brisket tacos.
Ooh.
And interesting, like, loaded fries with all sorts of goodness.
Nice.
And like Korean fried wings, they were nice. We had some drinks and whatnot, and Kat got all of us onto the VIP list for the final wrap event at Blockworks. I was lucked out because you gave me your ticket because you couldn't go. So like I already had the in, but it was cool that Kat, hooked them up with that. And it happened pretty quickly. I think at least from my point of view, like let's say I wanted to host an event, what do I think is the biggest hurdle to get over is trying to figure out like a head count for an event. Right? Like if you're going to make an event proposal and you're going to ask for money, I think you'd have to know how many people are going to be there. So at least what I saw, what she did was she had us, make a tweet and make a group chat. And
Right.
then from there, internally, like once it got all lined up, it's a little unique because she's the events lead, so like she kind of like can talk more directly with the team and the council. She posted like a Partiful link where you signed up because at eventual point they're like, okay, whatever. There's 25 people in this group chat. We can budget for 20 people to go.
Now, okay, this is interesting too, because my understanding is that this wasn't a proposal necessarily. It was just an incubator sponsoring the event. Is that?
From a technical standpoint, I have no idea how
Yeah.
it ended up working. What was cool though was that Kat got like at the after party, like on all the stages, it was like Doodles, like, and there was like a couple other sponsors, so like the Doodles thing was there. So I definitely got some flicks. I saw some other people post some flicks, so it was cool, right? Like we're all these DeFi crazy people. Like when I said the word NFT, people were like, "Oh, this guy,
this guy."
wait till he gets his hand on some, on Aave,
on Aave,
right? Like, okay,
it's
guys,
always Aave.
How
much yield are you getting on your doodle? Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, yeah. We're staking, we're early. Yeah, so that was, about what happened in Austin. So that was nice, right? Got together, we, got to break some bread, and it wasn't like it's a party. Like it was just a restaurant. We like grabbed a couple tables, made like a big area. The hospitality was nice. And then on the other side of the world, there was it Token 2049?
Yeah, Singapore Token 2049. Yeah.
So I just pinned up a picture, but it's actually a thread by Ziddy. Ziddy's a native Singaporean. They are working, like I think like in the investment world, but all like blockchain adjacent, or it might be a Web3 investment fund.
Okay.
And they rented out a place called Mandala Club, which is like a private members club. I think what they had set up for the deal was essentially like I think also that the interesting thing was that Formula One was also going on in Singapore. So that brought in some of the other Asian doodlers from, all like the, neighboring countries. Cause some people just, like go to Formula One across the world. They just like go on the tour and wherever it goes. So that happened to be like a really good point of synergy. And they asked for the max amount of money, which I think was 5K.
Okay.
But what they ended up saying was if it got over 5K, that the club was going to sponsor the rest of it.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So that worked really good. Just like how Young Sun was talking to us, was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week. We were on with Young Sun from the Koodles event.
That's right. Yeah, that was last week.
And he was mentioning how, getting some other people involved helped stretch it, right?
Yeah,
they might have gotten
sponsorships, 100%.
Yeah, so I think that that's kind of what separates like a person that's never really hosted an event and then someone that is like does this for a living, or that's just in the business scene and has done events before. I think being able to like you were talking about, leverage the Doodles name or the incubator name for cloud, or trying to want, like, it's like marketing, right? Okay, look, they did something with Doodles. Oh, that's a blue chip NFT project. And as the brand gets more and more recognition, we should be able to, as holders, leverage that a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think I'm really impressed by what we've seen so far with such relatively small budgets. I'm not like trying to say like, yo, we need to move it more than 5,000, but I think what we've seen so far, especially with what Burry was doing in Chicago, and what we've seen with Dubro, they are definitely very resourceful.
Yep.
And I think that what, in my opinion, as a holder, I would trust them. All the people thus far that we've seen do events, do it again, and then see how it materializes.
No, that's a good point. I don't think any of these events have been like, oh man, that was a drag. Like they've all been great, for the most part. Like, and it really does make you think about kind of the emotional ROI if the incubator is funding these events and they're relatively low asks, like how many impressions are they getting? It was really cool. I was unaware of the Singapore event, to be fair. And once I saw it going on, I saw how many doodles were there. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, this is super cool. It would seem to me to be worth, every penny in that regard. Not to mention there was one other cool thing. I mean, I know this is a small thing, but there was that like full body, like Hap cutout, and I guess Art Dude helped work on that, or it's somehow, I don't know what that, interaction looked like, but that was super cool that could just like level up their event just a little bit.
And to speak to what 8270 had mentioned the last ink tank when Youngsun and them were talking about it, I also saw that Zitty was able to recycle in some fashion those things where it like showed people's doodles. Like it showed like it was like, oh, doodle number so and so, and then it was their face that we saw in that
Yeah.
gallery in Korea. Which, I mean, that was a pretty fast turnaround for having those evergreen assets. Like the frames that Art Dude did.
It's true.
I wonder how much longer Art Dude has on the artist in residence. I haven't looked that up. I feel like it's like awfully close to an end.
Oh, I hope not. I feel like he's just getting started, but who knows? Yeah. But yeah,
I'm gonna see.
Was it 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Oh wow, it was only 2 months. Oh man, that's crazy.
It's funny because like in Web3, everybody always is like, oh, 2 days is like 2 years, and then all of a sudden, like 2 months just blinked past us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna check on the RFP really quick.
I mean, so yeah, 2 great community events while you're looking that up. Yeah, Austin permissionless, and I think that what we were talking about with the folks over at Koodles from Korea was that it seems to be an emerging theme. People were kind of bummed for a long time, when Doodle said they were only going to pop up at these tentpole events and do these big activations. It seemed like they were doing less and less of those per year. And it was like, oh man, but now it does seem like, now this is not like a guarantee on the company's part, but it seems like Doodles via the community is having a presence at all these events, to the point where if you drop into, it seems like, I mean, this calendar year's been a pretty good record as far as, like 3 for 3 or whatever, blockchain events this year. There's been at least some Doodles presence there via the community, via the incubator. So it really seems like in that regard that the incubator is exercising the kind of will of the community in that way, which I think is pretty cool.
I definitely agree with that pretty well. That was I guess it was a hard pill for everyone to swallow, like resetting everyone's expectation for how the team was going to interact with the community. I mean, I remember back, it must have been last October when Doodles did that collaboration with FAM, which
right.
You and me, like we were early on the FAM game, and we were definitely like, trying our best to try to get that operational, just being with TGID and stuff.
Sure.
I think the ethos of FAM was empowering the community to, have more responsibility and, kind of drive the destiny of things. I think that kind of, that similar concept ran through Doodles. Obviously, like we don't hear from like Julian and stuff a lot, like from the Doodle Sesh point of view. But
sure,
like you said, ultimately, like this money is here, and it shouldn't be for somebody else to try to like tell us what to do with it.
Sure.
Which I think is fun. I'm bullish on, this quasi DAO multi-sig thing. Clearly a lot of people are. We've seen a lot of proposals.
It'll be an interesting experiment, in the long term, or in the not so long term, NFT long term. I think a while ago it became clear that Doodles was like obfuscating the kind of founding team, if that makes sense, kind of blending them into the background. And it'll be an interesting experiment because I think we all grew up on, just using all these weird terms for NFTs, but larger than life personalities, as far as founders go, kind of cult of personalities surrounding them. And I think that for a long time, and most recently is shown by someone like Frank, right? People are like, oh, you got to have a Frank, And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent one way, but the experiment will be borne out. Like, can a community feel like it's getting attended to via things like the incubator, via things like, the socials with interactive derivatives and things like that, without that direct founder interaction. That's just going to be an interesting experiment that is playing out right now.
I mean, that experiment, I think Doodles was the first one to be like, hey, whoa. Like, let's rethink how this thing is going to go. You know what I mean? You guys are putting you guys think we're going to be here all the time. And that's just, we can't do that and run a company. And then we saw that, kind of later, like you said, happen with the DeGods community, and it's happening other places. Obviously, right now, Luca Nets is still kind of just doing his thing, right? Like,
been very successful.
I don't think that he's drowned or bit off more than he can chew. But other places, it's like that M Nubis meme. It's like
first
him,
time
in the noose, and he's like, first time. That one hit so hard.
No,
and it's okay, right? I think we need to think about each other as people, and right, let's tamp it down a little bit, right? Like, we don't need to be breathing down each other's necks.
Well, what I'm saying from more it's interesting. Like I said, I don't know how the experiment will play out, but it would be interesting, as you said. Like, Doodles has been first to a lot of things. Doodles closed it to its Discord first, essentially creating the first allow list. Will we look back in 2, 3, 4, 5 years and look, or will the attitude at that point be like, your founder tweets like, oh my gosh, you're crazy, like, or something like that. Like, you have such key man risk from having such a public sounding figure. Like, why would anybody do that? Or so, I don't know what the experiment will play out, but
let me just at least, I'm gonna bat one for the incubator not being a full-fledged DAO right now. We just saw a big ass fork in nouns. Like, a lot of people forked. And then I think almost 50% of the people that forked rage quit and just took the liquidity and said, screw it.
Legendary. Love
so it. if that's one thing about a DAO playing out in the NFT community, I think it's important that we separate. There's the NFT community, and then there's those the Web3 community, and the kind of stuff that they're doing with their DAOs. They're creating alternative cities and all sorts of stuff, and social goods. I think that Nouns was doing that stuff, but if you try to look at other ones that we're looking at, like Lunar Society, I do think there's a clear difference of what kind of stuff.
Yeah. I could talk about the Nouns DAO fork, and maybe we'll come back to there in the context of the incubator, but I know we've yammered on enough, and we have 8270 joining us on stage. So
GM, sir.
Mr. 70 GM.
Mr. 70 GM.
ERC 8270. I saw you posted that. That was funny.
Yeah. So, okay, soft. What was it? Softbound.
Yeah, softbound. Softbound. Is that like semi soulbound? Like, what is that? What is that?
Yeah. So the concept was, and I have no idea how to do this, so I wish I had the ability to do an EIP and whatever. But the idea is where, and maybe it already is in existence, but it's a soulbound token, but can be transferred one time. Once it's been transferred once, it's done, and now it's stuck. The reasoning behind it is it would allow people to claim something with a hot wallet and then send it over to their vaults
once,
while also limiting the speculative factor of NFTs, because if you buy it, it's bound to you. So for a collecting aspect, you could buy it, I guess. But as for buying it to flip it, it's that wouldn't be possible with the ERC 8270. So anyways,
I feel like that may exist in a couple of ways. I know pre-mint or other places, you can basically register to mint. You might even be able to sign the transaction and pay with one wallet, and then the NFT gets sent to another wallet. So that may accomplish the same task. But the people who I would wonder who might know would be Moonbirds, because they did that activation called Tubin's Run. And what that was is you could only transfer it to another person, it would burn their oddities. There was a bunch of conditions, right? But it created this soulbound token. But then if you didn't transfer it, at some point they had this yoink function where they could yoink the token and take it back, because someone sent it to the burn wallet, and everyone got so pissed, and they were like, no, it's gone. And then the people in charge were like, wait, we can yoink it from the burn wallet. This is crazy. So I just imagine that might have the kind of, they might know something.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because like there's a couple things too with a soulbound where if you have a wallet, and I mean I grew up in an era where you would like change your wallet every so often just for security purposes, not necessarily like you didn't necessarily get hacked or anything like that or compromised, but just to keep everything clean, you would shift it over to a new wallet.
Yeah.
But with soulbound, that kind of like kills that because it's gonna be like your old family photos where it's like, oh, that laptop has this soulbound token and this laptop over here has that soulbound token attached to it. So I was thinking if there was a way, and like one transfer doesn't necessarily solve it indefinitely, but I feel like it at least helps.
So just a curious question. Like I have a very rudimentary understanding of this, but that account abstraction, the 44337 thing, is that like a way that you can like own multiple wallets with one wallet?
Are you talking about 6551, the token bound wallets?
I'm not sure, but I thought that there's something that they're doing about that's I'm not exactly sure, but at least what I'm imagining in my head, 82, is like, like how somebody has a company and then there's like a shell corporation that owns a bunch of companies. I wonder if there was a way that you could do something like that. Like, so there would be a way that you could display all of your wallets under one area, but technically they're in other safe locations.
Flow fixes this.
Flow fixes this. That wouldn't be bad. I don't know. I feel like let's say, okay, Tony, let's say this is the future. Okay, let's just speculate for a little bit.
Sure.
This is the
putting
future.
on my tin hat.
Yeah, soulbound tokens are abounding. Okay, everyone's bounding souls, right?
Sure.
30 years of that, and you have let's say over 30 years, you get X amount of wallets. I mean, if there was a way maybe to display it cleanly where people couldn't necessarily tell that there's a bunch of different wallets, but it would be nice to like, I've collected hockey cards, all my hockey cards in one spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh yeah, this set of hockey cards, like 98 to 99 is over here. And I don't know.
I mean, if you had like a quote unquote forever PFP, you could put those NFTs in a token bound wallet for that thing, and then wherever you transferred that, digital avatar, it would follow them along, I guess.
Yeah. I think because I love the idea of the soulbound. I don't know if I've ever gotten a soulbound token, but I love that idea of it. But it's just, I guess the boundness is what's keeping me away, which is ironic. But,
Yeah. It is interesting.
So now we're like talking about all these soulbound things, but I'm assuming there's a reason why you keep inquiring about POAP, similar things, soulbound tokens. Might it have to do with something that I pinned to the top of the space?
All right, relax. Yeah, no, it's and it's more so something I'm just gonna try out. Like I don't want it to be anything official, right? But if there's some people that want to go for a run and then we collect some digital assets, some NFTs, let's do it, and we'll see what happens. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So, but I'm nervous because I think the first one, I haven't totally decided, but it'll let's just say let's start off easy with like a 2K run to hopefully get people off the couch and just go do a little bit of a run or a jog or a run and walk or whatever. But yeah, so I want to do it soon where like there will be this 2K, 2 kilometer.
How are you, now that I'm thinking out loud, it is called proof of run. How are you proving that they ran?
Yeah, exactly. It's it is a tricky situation.
It is.
So I have a couple options that I've been thinking through. Ultimately, just like in any sports, I mean, maybe we're gonna need a doping association, right? Like an anti-doping. Maybe we'll have Tony. Yeah, or maybe Roofs would be a good one. He'll just sit there and like analyze okay, so he'll
do the year analysis.
yeah, exactly.
You upload your Strava and he's like, this GPS data is not aligning with the weather data and it's suspicious.
Yeah, exactly.
It couldn't have been running. There was a hailstorm in Bosnia on August 9th. Impossible.
and yet he ran it faster than Usain Bolt. Okay, how is this gonna work? Yeah, so it's we'll figure it out. Like ultimately, I understand people can cheat, people can lie.
That's
but
kind of lame, though. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
like
you're
if
cheating yourself.
yeah, if they
played
want to do
yourself.
that, then congratulations. Here's a digital collectible that gets you nothing except for sitting in your wallet. You know. Now, if there was like a monetary value to these things, that'd be a different story. The degens would pop in and start farming it. They'd like,
As they have, and as they always
yeah,
will.
yeah. They would, they'd be like, "Hey, kid, here, take my phone and just go for a little bike ride quick." So I
You should
understand.
have seen you should have seen the
Is
setups
our
people were
sponsor
using.
today.
They were using to farm Strava. They had like weird like Lego Bionicles and little machines, and like just farming those steps.
Yeah. So it definitely could happen.
Are you thinking about like doing like a proof of run friend tech room in the way that you join? You have to buy the keys.
Oh no, I don't know if I.
I was just thinking
friend
like
tech.
that could be an onboarding mechanism. Worst idea you've heard all day.
It could
Yeah,
be
but
an
I
onboarding
don't
mechanism.
I don't want any monetary nothing attached to this thing.
Fair.
I want like just chilling, you know?
Yeah, I think that's nice. I've seen that Moonbirds community has done something similar. I know that Nouns and Bored Ape.
Yeah, board running club.
I'm loving the initiative of, you know, physical health. I think that's great. I know Lifts, you are definitely in that realm and all that stuff. I'm no dietitian or, you know, nutritional person, so not nutritional advice. But yeah, I think that's something really great for the community. You know, building something like that, people will come. I wouldn't be too concerned about participation. I mean, we just had an event in Singapore and in Austin and in Korea. I think people can run.
Well, and the thing is, like, so the people have suggested Strava, they've recommended like Nike Running, all those the different apps where you could like partner or connect. But I mean, as you can probably already assume, and I think I talked to Lifts about it in replies, but my concern is like the doxing, because some people their IRL life is attached to it. And so I wanted like some running club where there's at least some proof that you participated in it. Now, whether you cheat or not, I mean, it can happen, but where you don't necessarily have to dox. If you basically like post a screenshot of the stats that you ran with, and you can crop out whatever you want, but as long as like there's the distance as well as the day that you ran. Now we'll see how big of an issue doping is.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say you could probably find like some obscure layer 2 and like get a grant to get someone to build it on there, like an anon running club.
Well, and I would love to like event. This is like if we just throw on our tin hats again, or speculative hats or whatever. If we're dreaming, Ink Tank, we're dreaming, right?
We're dreaming.
I want, like, if there is demand for this, then I think it would make sense to throw out, like, do a proposal, find someone that could build an app for this that would, but like, that's not even,
that's further down the line. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like you said, it could be cool. Like, I do think that there's a use case for that. And I also realize that this is a unique problem that you ran into. But in terms of like, even let's just think about like, I'll put my hat on, you know, like how people talk about Doodles 2. I've been getting this more like, you know, long-term idea. If maybe like, imagine Doodles 2 was like kids' online avatar to be able to do things online, and it was kind of everywhere, just like their Gmail. And like this running thing, like if I was a parent, I don't know if I'd want people on the other side of the world to like know where my kid is running. You know what I mean? Like if that all that information and stuff, like if it was able to be private, but they could still just, I don't know, like your kid wants to, I don't know, swim 3 miles, like, okay, go for it, kid. Like, but you know, there could be like malicious actors online sometimes. So I think being able to, like you said, remove that, you know, like location data, age, face, all that sort of stuff would be pretty cool in terms of security for children, as well as also just people that, you know, maybe just don't, or just, you know, privacy. I think that's a big one, right? I think privacy is huge.
That's interesting.
And like, I might be a little overboard. Well, I probably am overboard. My wife lets me know I am with all this privacy stuff, but it's like, I don't know. It's something that I care about, and I know not everyone cares about it, nor do they need to care about it. Like, that's fine. But it would be nice if there is an option. And then like eventually with proof of run, it'd be cool to have like a doodles versus moonbirds. So then you got like communities running against each other. And I was thinking with like the fastest time. So when people are running, the fastest person that runs the 5K or the 2K or whatever, even though 2K might not be challenging for them, maybe they want to complete it the fastest, and then they would get token ID number 1 on the little thing. So then it would also be kind of like a ladder of who
serialized.
So it'd be like, oh, and I can always just go for token ID 8270. I'm chilling at the back, but don't worry.
That's a lot of users.
Tony, if we build it, they will come.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably have to like onboard like the Bitcoin ordinal maxis too. Like all sorts of
on-chain monkey running club.
I don't know. Tom will bring the ETH-scription, folks, so we're good there.
We'd love to see. Maybe ETH-scription solves this problem, the soul-bound issue.
And I'm sure we could also bring. Oh, have you guys heard of new something city? It's like the Bitcoin version of Frentech.
Oh, wait, isn't it just called Alpha or something?
No, it's. Give me one second.
Are you just trying to bait Tom to coming on stage?
100%. Tom, pitch us ETH-scriptions for proof of run. Would love to see it.
No, wasn't Tom tweeting about the Bitcoin Frentech?
Yes, I mean, the name is just here. Wait, it's in my DMs with him. I'm gonna have to find it really quick.
You can put the running data from the wearables inside the call data of
it's called
token.
New City Bitcoin. That's the one.
New City Bitcoin. Okay, isn't there an irony in that? Because weren't people calling out Frentech for being a copy of BitClout? So in a weird way, it kind of came all the way back around to Bitcoin again. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's see here. I know we wanted to kind of get into some of the incubations and some of the proposals.
But I guess before that, just so 8270 doesn't feel compelled to
100%
poke in any of these things we're going to do, because like we have free reign to give our opinions that are owned by ourselves on these proposals, because I think we're going to take a dive into the proposals that have been denied and maybe kind of unpack the rationale and stuff. But 82, did you have any things you wanted to share about the community council incubators related stuff before we do that?
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So there was a proposal that has passed the veto. I don't know I forget what's all public, but anyways, there is a proposal that has passed the veto from my understanding. So the news will be coming out about that. There are a couple of there was a proposal in the review that has been rejected, that hasn't been publicized yet. We're just contacting the individual first. And then there was another proposal that we're just looking for more information. I think one of those proposals that you saw was the Lit Dude candle. There was some discussion going back and forth on Discord, and we're really excited about the Lit Dude proposal. But yeah, it was like, I think the ask is nearing $100,000 to kind of kickstart the Lit Dude candle, and we just want to make sure that all the numbers make sense. So we got the information very quickly from Depangster, so we've been looking over that. We have a meeting coming up tomorrow where we're going to be discussing that new information that was shared with us, as well as 3 or 4 other proposals that we're going to be discussing. Yeah, we're slowly making progress on the backlog, but that backlog, it hits different sometimes,
Okay, that's an interesting point, because this is something we actually wanted to discuss tonight. So I would love to hear your take, however much you're comfortable sharing. Because, someone sees that proposal, they see 100,000, they go, whoa, scary big number. But from what it sounds like, given ample information, if it makes dollars and cents, like the council may consider something of that size. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So I'll be fully transparent, when I saw the proposal and I saw the ask, I was like, oof, this is like this. Like, I mean, we've been funding $5,000 community events, and now there's this $100,000 proposal, or just shy of 100,000. I think it's 93,000 if I remember correctly. But yeah, we're like, if it makes sense, we're definitely open to it. Like, we probably talked about this proposal for 45 minutes at our last meeting, going through the numbers and does it make sense. And so that's where we came up with some of these questions, where we wanted information from Depangster. And I think the questions we asked were public. I don't think the information necessarily is, but we asked, like, how has your candle business been in the past? Has it been successful? How many candles have you sold? What's the markup on these candles? What's the minute, like, if we wanted to test this out, but maybe not with 100K, what would be a number that is feasible for you to be able to pull it off? Because we don't want to come in and say, no, we'll give you a couple $1,000s and test it out and see how it goes. Like, we want to set them up for success, but in a way that makes sense for the incubator.
Yeah, you want to determine what is the true minimum viable product, and is the incubator the place to fund that?
Yeah, exactly. And we've gotten a couple samples of this candle, and so far, from everyone that I've heard, now I haven't smelt it, but apparently it's pretty good. I've heard from multiple people that it is a good smelling candle. So, and I'm not a candle expert, so I'm gonna have to,
defer to the candelabras out there.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's one proposal. Like, if a proposal makes sense, we're eager to fund it. We are very eager to fund proposals that make sense and that we can get past all the checks and balances.
Nice. Oh, and I was looking through, it looks like a event was funded, but not, hasn't occurred yet. So it hasn't launched, quote unquote, but it looks like Doodles is going to have a presence around Ape Fest, or like a community event, obviously, but around that time. Does that sound about right?
Yes, I think so. I don't know.
It's on the incubator. So it says funded Inc. 43 from Wen Moon and Cupcat.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So yeah, we're excited to do that. Yeah. Okay. It's like, I mean, Lyft, we know you've leaked a couple of things here and there. Yeah. It's, I'm excited about that one. I think, like, when we can get these community events popping up around these conferences or things that are happening in Web3, for us to pop up a little a Doodles event for people to go and enjoy, I think is like a big W. So, yep, pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
just that one. Full transparency, that one I think is $7,000, which is technically a little over the cap limit of these community events. And Wen Moon kind of broke it down for all the proposals. So they break down a budget and what goes where. And essentially, to get a venue, the venue basically is just shy of the $5,000.
Yeah, it's $4,500.
Yeah. So with that in mind, we thought, okay, we'll go over the 5,000 this time because it makes sense. I don't know if we necessarily want to make a habit of this, but we were excited to work with Wen Moon again. He has been phenomenal in the past, and look forward to see this event take it.
No, that's really exciting. Yeah, we were just talking about how the incubator has allowed there to be a presence of the Doodles community at, seemingly most major blockchain events or NFT events this year, which is, I think, a huge win. So that's really cool.
Oh, and I do have a shameless plug that I need to make. I'm not going to be able to post a tweet because my TGID is on my other phone. So the draft is on my current phone that I'm on. But as I see him in the crowd, I'm going to have to announce that we are partnering with Alchemy Chains to provide all of our Spaces listeners with a discount on Alchemy Chains. So I'm going to go ahead and after the space, I'll send out the tweet. So if you are interested in putting your favorite on-chain artwork on a chain, you're going to have to hit up Alchemy, and in the order form, you use code TGID, and you'll get 15% off. So
We love
big
to
shout
see
out
it.
to Alchemy. But yeah, he's just trying, I think, expand his audience. We're trying to, you know, give a little token of our appreciation.
We need
you
an
know,
Alchemy YouTube channel. This is just coming to
oh,
me
like
now.
building.
Well,
Yeah, that
I
would
watch
be.
like unnecessary inventions, all these like builders and makers, and I love to see them like level up their process, or like 3D print guy, like level up their machinery. And so every time Alchemy puts out a new tweet, like, "Ooh, I got a new machine," I'm like, "Yes." So
Did you see that kiln that he got that looks like a
that's what I'm saying.
safe?
That's what I'm saying. We need
It
some vids.
Yeah, it's a tabletop kiln. I'm just like, ooh, it looks like it would burn my house down in a second.
Wait, who has this?
Alchemy.
Alchemy. I just pinned it up to the top. Look at it. It looks like it makes, I don't know.
I think it makes gold.
That thing is thick. Yeah, I guess like if you had like a little hamster and there was like a nuclear bomb going off, you could put him in there and he'll be fine.
Ah, yeah, like Indiana Jones in the refrigerator.
Yeah. And I guess again, I'll just go ahead and just put it out there. You know, Ink Tank is a community-led Twitter space. So if anybody would like to join us for any hot takes or anything, or you know, if you have any ideas, if you have proposals out, this is, you know, a good time for you to just hop up and shoot your shot and whatnot. We might not be as highly produced as what's that whale show that's coming up, Lips?
Oh, Killer Whales?
Killer Whales,
I'm
yeah.
so excited for Killer Whales.
Yeah. We're just we're not orcas over here, but
Sink or swim.
yeah. So Lifts, without further ado, you want to go ahead and thumb through some of these proposals with me?
Let's thumb through some of these proposals. Okay, and I will just preface this with, this is not a pointless piece of surgery for pain. Like, one of the things that we always wanted to do with Ink Tank was to like inspire people to write great proposals, to connect people with different, you know, if, oh, I didn't have this talent, but I have this idea, we could do that. But another part of it too is not everybody's in Discord reading the threads that are attached, which are great, by the way. If you have an opportunity, go to the Ink Tank section. There's threads for each proposal that comes through. Always great discussion there. But I think there's a lot of great lessons to be learned in proposals that get funded and proposals that get denied, right? Why did it get denied? You know, what is the council, you know, maybe prioritizing? I think this is all important. You know, something, for example, like Tony and I were talking about, one of the things that we found out is like, oh, collaborative efforts maybe, you know, looked positively on. So if you're thinking about making something in the community, maybe look to collab with another community member. Maybe collab with Alchemy Chains to make a new piece of jewelry or something. I don't know. Just spin that.
Yeah, and to your, yeah, I think we're seeing, if we like, you know, can observe any trends that are going on, or if any like of our just you know, review of it, and you know, our perspective might help it click for other people. Ultimately, like Lifts is saying, we want other people to be able to unlock the incubator as well. Like we got to unlock the Doodle Bank before. I right now have a proposal out in the incubator, so it's fun stuff, right? I think it's like a real direct value add of holding a doodle, an OG doodle. It is, yeah, I just think take the opportunity. So I again, I got to commend people for, you know, putting their ideas out there and submitting proposals. I think it's over 60 at this point. So I mean, bravo.
People are
GM.
in the arena, you know?
Yes.
Yo, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, good. Dude, I saw someone walking in a doodle crux yesterday randomly, and I almost just blindly followed them and got ran over by a few cars, but
as you should.
I'm alive. Dude, I was like just like following the guy, like interested in like talking to him for some reason, but then I realized I'm going the wrong way, and
wait, Ash,
me out.
that was you?
I didn't talk to the guy. Don't do that to him. But dude, I just saw 82 up here. I was gonna say, maybe for future it would be good to like have the team panel not appear publicly, because for example in my case, like I didn't freaking remember that this is gonna be public, So one of the members of my team, I'm not gonna mention who and or which proposal, he didn't want to be publicly known yet, working on it, and I messed up and put it on the paper. But yeah, maybe in the future that should only be like docs to the community council as opposed to the whole doodle community.
That's a good call. I don't know in the current iteration if that's possible, but it might be possible. I'll talk to Eyal. So basically, when you submitted a proposal and you put down who the team was, there was someone that was leaked in there that didn't necessarily want to be leaked. Just so that I'm understanding.
Yeah, they didn't want to be like publicly known that they're associated to the project yet. Their docs is like that's not an issue, but it's just like they
yeah. So that makes sense. Do you need me to go and change any of the, like, if you need anything altered, just hit me up and we can make those edits so that it's no longer public.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah, we'll make that correction and I will bring that to the council. I don't know, like, if Eyal was here, he'd be able to let you know right away if that's doable, but I can definitely bring it.
Like,
awesome, dude. Yeah, I'll text you who and which proposal. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's a little unique because, like, partly, I guess, from a holder's point of view, like maybe you're kind of curious who's collaborating with each other. But I do understand, like, maybe some folks are like, oh, I want to wait and see, you know, like if it's going to go public.
Well, I guess the question is, like, do you build for the edge case? Because, like, to me, the easier thing would just to make it be clear that these
manually do it.
No, that these applications are public. You know what I mean? As opposed to like building some kind of like secret framework on the back end, you know?
Yeah, like what I probably would recommend, Ash, next time is when you submit a proposal, just put whoever is comfortable with being public and then just contacting us and saying, just so you know, this individual would also be involved.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, even for my own information, like maybe I wouldn't have liked to share my personal website that has my portfolio and my portfolio has my address. I'm comfortable with sharing that to a person that's going to give me like thousands of dollars to build, but I don't think like everyone needs to have that info. So just generally speaking, I think it makes sense.
Interesting.
Would you like me to just wipe that proposal out if possible? And then we can like handle it a different way. Like like the one thing is we wanted the incubator to be as transparent as possible. Now with this situation, it seems a little unique, but like I definitely understand privacy and the desire for it.
No, no, I appreciate that, and I have told the guy, so he's cool, and I'm cool, but I'm just saying for future, maybe some other people would also like to keep certain detail personal from like the complete public, but they don't mind sharing it with the person funding them, right? Just like no one really knows exactly who the Frentech people are, but I'm really sure Paradigm knows exactly where they live and their phone numbers and everything.
So maybe it would make sense to have like if it's not already very visible on the proposal page, just like, attention, this will be public for all to see, and if there are like, basically if there's details that you would like to remain private, keep them out of this proposal and contact us directly.
Or maybe the right way for me should have been to put some of the sensitive information in a DocuSign and have a password for the DocuSign and then send you guys the password. Maybe. I don't know the right way. I just thought I'd share that.
Well, and there's now a file upload portion as well. I don't know if that gets public.
No, it's just a DocuSign link. So like you don't like you upload all the files to one link and then you put the link in the text.
Sure. Yep. That could certainly be a way to do it.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback, Ash. And contact me privately with whatever you want removed and whatnot. And I'm sure we can figure something out.
Yeah, I appreciate you, dude.
Nye, GM.
GM, how's it going, Tony?
I am doing good. How is Paradise?
Paradise is blessed, man. I can't complain. Shout out to you. Shout out to Dude Lift and 8270 for always holding it down with the doodle spaces. I requested because I was wondering if you guys could help me out locate a doodle holder. I found his account, but I want to trade him for his doodle. I see he has it listed. I have a dope IP play with it. And I was wondering maybe if you
Ooh.
guys being OGs in the space, if you guys were like friends with him already.
I think your best bet is to shoot him a DM and lead with, "Hey, dude, saw that you have your doodle listed. I would like to offer." No, I'm just kidding. That's like the,
Yeah, I was like, I already been there, done
That's-
that. I'm like, I'm just straight up.
I like your
tweeting
NFT.
at him at this point.
No, I'm
So
just messing around.
who is the person and what's the doodle number? I'm on OpenSea right now to see if I could find it if you don't know who it is.
I'll share the person on Ink Tank, and now that so I shared him, and then like the doodle number.
Oh, it's Chance.
This is about to turn into
See?
private
See?
investigator.
There you
Tank.
go. There you go. Doodle number is 4441.
Just send them your doodle and then hope that they'll send you a doodle back.
Oh yeah, a good old trust trade, you know.
That is the
Yeah.
worst advice I've heard all day.
You could offer him an OpenSea deal if you can't make contact with him. It is an option.
I know I could, but yeah, I could definitely do that. That's like, yeah, I could send that in. It doesn't hurt to send it in. I was just hoping I could just have a conversation and like a negotiation with him, you know, because he does have it listed at 2.2, and you know we could negotiate maybe whether with ETH or different NFTs. But I do have an IP play for his doodle, and I would love to use it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, if you end up not being able to make contact, certainly I would recommend doing like a OpenSea deal offer because you could do NFTs plus ETH.
Yeah. I
whatever
just
kind of combo you want.
DM'd him at least just the old GM to see if he'll respond. So
There
if he
you go.
responds, I'll let you know.
There you go. Thank you, Big Chef Tony. He's definitely gonna respond to you because he don't know who the hell I am. But...
Hey, you should try to get that Pukenza in that trade. Just saying.
Okay.
Nye, are you familiar with the Pukes?
I'm not.
Okay.
Is this another NFT that he holds?
So this is like an early piece of Doodles lore. So when Doodles came out, there's like a team West Coast NFT. This guy Lex Lim, who is from Malaysia, came up with this generative art project where if you held a doodle, you could go on this site and it would use colors from your doodle, like the palette, and it would create a unique generative art piece. So there's like what 8,000 Pukenzas. So like 8,000 people, or at least people like that held 8,000 doodles, minted Pukenzas, and then they're separate NFTs, but they kind of look like a Fidenza, or more like you could throw it like on the background of your doodle or something. If you look them up on OpenSea, it's just Pukenza.
Okay, sick. I'm checking. I'm looking at it right now, and it makes sense because the doodle
they're like really
numbers and
trippy.
pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. I never even knew what that was.
I don't know how I've never looked up the Dude Lifts Pukenza. It's glorious.
Does it exist?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I haven't looked at mine either.
Are they the same as your token ID?
Yes. So they have a
Alright.
different. Oh, sorry, no, that's the rarity. But yes. So yeah, just search your token ID.
Wait, I forgot that not many people would know about Pukenzas.
Poopy owns mine.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
I'm seeing if I can.
Sounds pretty cool, though.
I
see if I
think.
can
Wait,
download the
is that
photo
the
here.
generator thing? Is generator on the trait the thing that matches the doodle number?
I think it's just in the name. Like mine says Pukenza number 9481.
Oh, then mine doesn't exist, I don't think.
Ooh, rare.
Tony is down bad.
Looks rare.
Yeah. Damn.
All right, guys, I need to go. I haven't showered after my run yet, so
Proof of run.
Yeah, proof of run. I got to go have proof of clean now.
Proof of shower. Yeah, no, I dig.
Yeah.
Well, at 82, thanks for coming through. We're definitely excited to see what proposals you guys review in this upcoming meeting.
Yeah, and I have a meeting. I have a weekly meeting with Tree now, so we can sync up, and hopefully we get some updates to you guys out shortly.
Nice.
So I think Tree was dealing with a hurricane, so we'll cut him a little bit of slack.
Oh, yeesh!
Damn, son.
Yeah,
hopefully he's good.
I hope I didn't dock. No, it's probably fine. I mean, it is what it is. Here we are. Anyways, I'm gonna get going before I dock some more.
Nice.
Catch you guys
All
later.
right.
Yeah, you
Take it easy,
got to
dude.
keep me and 82 out of the same space. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Lyft, I still can't put that. Yeah. All right. Peace out.
All right. Now let's get into the weeds. I think we should start at the tippy top of the list of declined proposals, starting with ink number 56.
Well, I was looking through a few different proposals, and I wanted to kind of call out that not every proposal has council feedback, right? And so I wanted to kind of discuss that because I think that's something that a lot of people have been asking for.
Yes.
Like, oh, we need feedback and this and the other. And I remember I kind of used to think the same thing. Like, oh yeah, they should get feedback, how to make it better. And I just wanted to kind of say this because it clicked knowing this now, is that the council is not in a position to kind of correct every business idea that comes through, if that makes sense.
Well, there's also like a preliminary step in the internal scoring mechanism thing. That's just like part of it is like aligning with the Doodles brand.
Sure.
Like does this align with the brand? If it X's on that, then it won't even be voted on. You know what I mean? Or like it won't be evaluated, is I think like that's like an early catch in terms of from an efficiency standpoint.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean that certainly has a lot to do with it as well. But I think additional to that is that the council is just not in a position to necessarily fix and correct every business idea that comes its way. So I think the majority of the feedback that you're going to see on a proposals has to do with like criteria, like you're saying, like alignment with the brand or other things like that, as opposed to fundamental maybe flaws with the business ideas or things like that, which I just thought was interesting.
That's a good call out. I did notice it before when like I went through them at some point. But I just at least quickly saw that that's the case for some of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so the top one that we were going to talk about is Ink 56 from Tat Dude. The summary, the gist, if you will, is they wanted to do. You might classify this as like a celebrity hike. Would that be a correct way to classify it?
Oh, I guess the simplest way is it's supposed to be an event that's tied to NFTLA, or they call it Outer Edge, whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
And 82.7 is jumped back up. Let's see. Hello.
Proof of run. Proof of shower.
All right. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So Tat Dude, some of these that are just like in the decline, some of them were just resubmitted. So Tat Dude, you should see that one is in review from Tat Dude. And it's essentially the same one, but just modified a little bit based on the feedback that we provided to them privately. So anyway, some of these that don't have any feedback, it's simply because there's a resubmission as well.
Oh, we should have scrolled up. What are we doing?
So like Tat Dude, that one is in review, I think, currently.
Yeah, and I see it has some additional feedback as well. Good call out. We should have scrolled up. So we appreciate.
Anyways, I wanted to call when you said like first decline, and then you said Tat Dude, and then you talked about a celebrity run or a hike. I thought, wait a second, that one should be in review right now.
This is why you're the chair.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm back out, but yeah, I wanted to make sure. So there are a handful, and that's one thing that we've been trying to figure out is like these resubmissions, because right now it's a little clunky where someone will submit a proposal, and let's say the proposal as is doesn't necessarily pass, so we give them that feedback, they resubmit a new one, and that old one gets sent to declined. I wish there was a way to kind of track it better so that you could see, okay, this was the first iteration of the proposal, here's the modified, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Right now we're working with an MVP, which is minimal viable product. So eventually I hope like version 2 of the incubator, it's a lot cleaner and smoother and all that stuff.
It can almost be like a declined with intention to resubmit or something like that.
Or just like if it was like Ink 23 V2, Ink 23 V3, if there was like some kind of.
Yeah. And one step towards correcting this a little bit is there's a new category called missing information, I think.
Yep.
So that was like before, what would happen is if we were missing information, we would reject it. It would go to decline. And then we would reach out to them and say, do you want to resubmit? Or do you not want to move forward? So now that kind of lets us move a proposal to need more information. Then we have a conversation with them. And then if the answers are satisfactory, then maybe we pass it and then make the changes in the notes. But yeah, anyways, we're learning. There's a lot to learn along the way. But anyways, I'm back out.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you for kind of the clarity. That's actually really helpful.
Yeah, dude, stop fighting what you don't know.
That dude submission.
No, I think that would help a lot because like the first time I was trying to read some proposals to kind of grasp what's approved, what's not, and like what's the process like. There was like 2-3 proposals from the same dudes, like 2 or 3 which have gone through and 2 or 3 was rejected. I was like, well, how the hell? And then after reading it, I realized, oh, they're the same thing, just a duplicate. But okay, I get it. It's just basically you have to decline and then resubmit. Oh, there's no resubmit. Like submit again.
Yeah. So
yeah,
like
that would clarify things a lot.
Yeah, like right now. So Near, there was one that he submitted. It was one of the early ones, whether Ink 3, Ink 4. It was one of the early ones, and it was about the Amsterdam meetup. And so we wanted more information on there, and then we had a meeting with Near. Just I don't know if it was a week ago or so. Kat and I had a meeting with Near, and we kind of asked him like, what are you most excited? Like, which one would you want to try out first? And he said, well, I'd like to like this Amsterdam one. So then we suggested, okay, make these slight changes that we're requesting, then submit it again, and then we'll see. So right now you'll find like this one by Near in the decline that's for Amsterdam, but there's also a new one from Near. I think it's Ink 60 something.
Yeah, 58 or something. I think something like that.
Yeah, okay. And that's the new Amsterdam proposal. So anyways, it's a little it's a little messy. We're trying to,
I hear you. Yeah, the one I looked at was a Young Sun, I think, Smile event or Smile NFT or something.
Hello NFT.
But yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, like even if you don't know about it, like if you read them, you realize it's a resubmission.
Yeah. Okay. So then we'll try our best with a grain of salt. So then, lifts. I guess in that case, if there's an active tat dude one going on, I say
we got a cross reference.
Let's take a step down to Ink 55, which is by Happy. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was like the Doodles Consulting Group, aka
I'm going to cross reference the resubmitted
the DCG. Well, this one is number 55, so it would have to be like in the very high numbers if there was another one.
True.
But yeah, so did you give this one a read?
Yeah, I gave this one a read, and I was reading the feedback as well, and I would say that I agree. So go ahead.
Yeah, I guess like what I would say the TLDR of this proposal of Ink 55 was creating a consulting group. So I mean, I guess like a group of people with different skill sets, whether you're like a designer or an engineer, a marketer, communications, all those different disciplines. And the idea is that, like people would hire them, like as consultants to do things. And there was also talks about, like a doodle first employment mechanism thing.
Mm-hmm.
it was a bit complex, and I wasn't completely sure how the network and stuff was going to be built up. I think, like one of the things we've kind of run into occasionally with proposals, even just like, okay, let's say I wanted to build an app or build a website. It's really being able to assemble those folks from the community proves to be a pretty difficult task.
Sure.
Because we're only so big, like the really like active core group of people. So I do think like that might have been a kind of more difficult sell. Like when it just like, I think it would be hard to start a consulting group from just scratch. And then when you specifically target it towards doodles, I'd have to kind of see how it comes together a little bit more. I guess this was just more like, it kind of gave me like more the idea of an incubation. Like, hey, here's my business concept. I just didn't know how we got there.
Yeah. Right off the top, they said the use of doodles is not allowed in the name or proposed venture. So just in name alone.
That one, everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see some other people do that. Doodles is off the table.
Yes, sir.
Simple one.
But additional to that, I think, like you were saying, and I think this is probably less, I will say less about the proposal itself, right? Because I'm not an expert in consulting firms and things like that. But I would say the takeaway here is clarity of proposal, right? What exactly is the commercial experiment? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove, right? And so for those who are kind of toying around with the idea of a commercial experiment, once again, not on the council, so this is just to the best of my knowledge, right? You have to be trying to answer a question. A commercial experiment is to try, it's like a hypothesis, right? You're trying to prove a question, right? And for this one, there isn't really a question that it's answering, right? And so that I think that has it lack some clarity. So I think that was kind of my big takeaway. And if I was looking to build a commercial experiment, something that I'd be looking to do. Let's see here. And I think we're going to move on to the next one, which is Half Human. Half Human, they've been poking around in a couple group chats, chatting about stuff, and I think they're doing something interesting. It's a handcrafted wooden tray. Now there wasn't any feedback, or it looks like maybe they resubmitted. So let me poke around here. Let's see, or maybe they haven't resubmitted yet. We'll see. But no feedback on that one. I just remember reading the initial proposal that the ask seemed a little bit high to me, but per 8270's comments earlier, if the proposal makes dollars and cents, then hey, it's fair game. It's fair game. Let's see. We'll look here down at Bury Lurkin Inc. 50. This one was interesting. So it said, this line caught me off guard. It said, this proposal seems to be mostly for an event for which applications are currently closed as far as commercial experiments go. So I guess it was applied as a commercial experiment, but then for an event. Tony, were you aware that event applications are currently closed? Does that sound right to you?
So I think what the situation around event proposals was, they were trying to focus on them in Q4. So okay. I think if this one, I want to say that like the token 2049 one and stuff were grandfathered in because those ones were approved previously. I think it was in the interest of, what do you call it, getting up with the backlog, as well as just having enough foresight to plan events, like, because Kat, like, she can't like plan 4 events at once, you know what I mean? Especially with people on the other side of the world. So I think that that's all that's saying. If it were one that was for, say, December, I think that they were still accepting it. I think that might have just been communicated a little funny.
Yeah. I was looking through some other ones. I saw that some people were proposing like derivative NFT projects, things like that. And so the council said nay on those.
Yeah, I think that precedent was something like we were just talking about earlier. Pukenza's came out way back in the day. I think that they asked for like 4 ETH, and then there was Noodles back in the day that provided the bank with like 45 ETH. But after that happened, Doodles was basically just like, hey, we're not going to, fund any more derivative projects. Ooh, and Spence is throwing the thumbs down. GM
I just let him up to the stage. What are you doing? Why is he doing that?
He's probably, maybe he's not.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm just interrupting because I don't hear Tony at all. I don't know if it's just me, but I just hear you and then quietness.
Can you hear me now? Okay, maybe
now I hear you. Now I hear you.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Oh yeah.
Right, so clearly I'm not the only one. So that's for like the past 1 minute.
Tony might have muted himself on accident. I don't get this
joke. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't get it. So I'll shut up now. You guys talk.
Okay. Yeah. No. So, but good looks on that. I accidentally fat fingered my mute. Basically, what I was saying, Spence was, and Lifts was talking about the derivative projects back in the day. Pukenza's came out. I think they asked for 4 ETH. It was just like for the smart contract. And Noodles came out and they gave back the bank like 45 ETH. But after that happened, the Doodles team just basically said, hey, we're not going to fund any more derivative projects. And I think that that's something that's just living as a precedent.
Just want to give a shout out to Santiago rolling through our YouTube live stream, hitting us in the comments, saying that we look good, by the way. So we appreciate that,
Dude, and you know what? Here, I got to show some alpha. I'll only tweet about this tomorrow, but for the folks that are on our YouTube live stream, check this out. It's a clay version of Chef Tony. It's hand done.
What is that?
I got it for my birthday. Well, I was gifted it for my birthday.
Whoa,
just came in.
That's crazy. Yeah, you got the alpha here on the YouTube live.
And you see he's got the pan cooking a steak.
That is awesome. I'm so jealous. I want like a Dude Lifts figurine so bad now. I've been thinking.
Yeah, and someone made it with like clay with their hands and like baked it in the kiln and stuff.
That's wild.
So it was pretty cool. And it makes me look a little more trim, A lot of the times when people draw me in the puffer, I look like chunky, like I'm like,
that's a big ass boy.
But now it's just like, all right, it's like a lean, mean fighting machine more.
Nice.
But yeah, so I guess in the interest of time, we don't want to be here too long. Sure. If there's any other proposals, here, this one I thought was kind of endearing. M. Nubis a while back, he minted his soul on chain.
And the feedback was just chef's kiss. I mean,
and the idea was he was just like, hey, Inkubator, like, will you guys possibly pay 25 or 30 ETH to take M. Nubis from me and burn him forever? And they basically were like, that would be horrible because we never want M. Nubis to leave. He's a very important part of our community.
It's true.
So that was true.
That is endearing. And this got me thinking as we're looking through the decline proposals, I was looking up at the page. I scrolled up, saw that there's recently submitted and something like that. And so maybe that's something we can do for next week's Ink Tank. Maybe we can, and I'd love to hear maybe what Ash and Spence have to say, but maybe if we had like our top 3 and, just top 3 or top 3 and bottom 3, something like that, a little bit of so that we can review these ahead of time. Might be interesting. What do you think, Tony? Or I see thumbs up from Spence. Ash, any opinions? Would you love the top 3 and the bottom 3? See thumbs up from
Dude,
Nye.
If Ink 34 is not in there, I'm fighting it.
Yes. Love that.
If Ink 34 isn't in what?
In the top 3.
We were saying we could do like a top 3, bottom 3 next week or something like that. And hey, that's why you're on stage. You know what I mean? You're
as far as I'm concerned, I'm the first and last person who had a pitch deck for these proposals.
You're subtly influencing the top 3, bottom 3 decision by.
I'm just saying, bro.
Just
saying. I'm not sure if the rest have actually done some market analysis, some market competitive advantages, making a demo and a pitch deck. You know what I'm saying?
Big business.
I know of another pitch deck being cooked up, but it's just.
Oh, fair enough. Then put it in the top 3, man.
Exactly. If my proposal.
Are you talking about my other proposal?
No.
Whoa.
Ash is gonna try to sweep.
I'm kidding.
All 3 spots.
That one's not asking for any money. So the second proposal I made, I don't know if you saw it, but it's just to like basically get burn toast on Binder when it goes live to sign our doodles for us or leave us a note.
Ooh, That sounds interesting. Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
so
really
it's
cool.
like at no cost, like or like whatever Burnt Toast asks
His
the
time.
incubator. Yeah, so like if he asks like his time is like $100 an hour, then they give him like 200, $300 or whatever.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Have you had any discussions with the council? Because I know as we were talking about tonight, we had this kind of discussion about derivative NFTs. Are quote unquote signed NFTs or those derivatives? Have you figured out how to kind of market that?
So it's a soul bound to the original token and it's owned by the original token. So it's not a new collection or a derivative. It's just an added layer to the original OG doodle. So more art, no dilution. Like
that's really
yeah.
interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, that's like, so there's a trading card game called Parallel, and they have a token sync where people can spend their tokens, but it's called Artograph, where people can upgrade their cards to signed versions of those cards. And that's transformative. But what you're saying is additive, which I think is really cool, but it's not dilutive. It's not a new collection. It's a really interesting concept. I think that's really cool.
Dude, you need to tell us more about Parallel one time, because I'm not at all familiar with it, but it sounds like you know a lot about it.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
They're killing it.
I thought you were trolling me.
No. Honestly, no, I don't know anything about it, and it sounds like they're absolutely killing it. So I'd love to learn more.
Yeah, no, they're definitely crushing it for sure. We did another space, and it is recorded with a non-refundable network last Wednesday. So if you go to the non-refundable network YouTube, we spent the majority of that episode talking about Web3 gaming and talked about Parallel quite a bit. So if you want to kind of get a couple of, DGen's takes on that might be a good place to go. Let's see. But Tony, yeah, I'm digging the idea of maybe doing a top 3, bottom 3 next week. So we'll see. We'll ideate over the next week and see what we want to do. Oh, Tony, I think you're muted somewhere, if not everywhere.
Okay. Sorry. I try to mute so I don't, bring the background noise and stuff. But yeah, I think a top 3, bottom 3 type vibe is good. I really did enjoy getting to kind of, run the gamut this week. I guess the last thing I kind of wanted to see was lifts. Did you get your Crocs yet?
Bro, of course. You act like I haven't worn them like 2 out of 3 days since I got them.
Now, like, are people rocking with all gibbets in, or are you like stylizing them?
So I am, and I'm shown here on YouTube. Get the close up. Ooh, let's see here.
Okay, so I'm seeing like they look primarily light blue.
Okay, so they're a little bit different. So let's see. We've got is this like the first? Am I like the sneaker review guy right now on YouTube? So this one's a little bit different than has a little more yellow, a little more pink to it. See the different gibbets. But I will say these are I've not had a pair of Crocs in a long time. Like these are pretty rad. Like I've worn them out quite a bit. I wore them to work today because I was like, YOLO,
Wow. Yeah.
I work with teenagers.
Now,
so
are you wearing them socks on or barefoot?
I am wearing socks on. I'm a socks on kind of guy. I wear my socks with my slides, socks with the Crocs. So I'm a socks man.
Are they? And now the most important question, what color socks?
So, I mean, it depends, Santiago put a comment on YouTube, said never seen a size 13 before. Nice.
Like Dwight Howard's Crocs.
Yeah. Right. They did. Yeah. With the close up, it kind of looked like a Shaq shoe, to be fair, but, whatever socks we're vibing on, not sponsored by Bombas, but the Bomba socks, they rock with the Crocs. They're great.
Okay. Fair.
So I would recommend. I've worn them and they've been awesome. So
yeah, I did not score Crocs. I just think socially not my thing. But if I were to be gifted a pair of Crocs, I'd probably rock them. But I didn't shell out for them this go around.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is the alpha. You know what I mean? I went to the casino with some buddies over the weekend. I roll up with the Crocs. My buddy looks down at my Crocs and says, "Oh, we're doing this now." And I said, "Yes, we are." And then we walked to the casino and it was a vibe. So,
oh gosh. Yeah. I guess did you win money?
No.
Were they like I thought you were gonna be like, and then I won.
Oh, I was.
jackpot on
Oh, dude, I was
Crocs."
prepared if I like won a jackpot, take a picture, be like the Crocs. But no.
Yeah,
Not
that would've
only he didn't won money, he lost his Crocs in a gamble.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were about to say lost my pride. So it was a lot
And
less
it's like he
insulting.
just showed us like his wife's Crocs, and he just made them look like a size 13 by zooming in really close.
Look at these. Look at
We're
these.
like, no, can you bring it back a little further, closer to your head?
The dude at the roulette table said, "Keep your $100. Just don't ever wear those things here again."
You're walking home barefoot.
No, I was in the high.
You're gonna have holes in those socks.
I was in the high roller room, right? And like I was all in, and then he pressed me a little bit, and I said, "All right, how about these?" And threw the Crocs on the table, and I was like, "We're playing."
And then he threw his Rolex.
We're playing for
the
pinks.
Crocs.
Yeah. He had to hit me with the Rolex. It's the only thing worth remotely as much. I was like, "Do you understand? There's only 800 pairs of these. Do you get that?" I told him that he wasn't getting the Crocs box to go with it, though. I was like, "That's mine. I'm keeping that."
Yeah, you could bury your ashes in that thing.
Yeah, that's soul-bound to me.
Soul-bound box. Yeah, you're like, like my cat, like when I buy something new or like, it's a furniture or her something, she loves the box more than the thing. Dude, so maybe people are kind of like cats.
Dude, I'm the
collectors
same.
are like cats.
I have the Crocs box on display on my shelf right now. Oh, which reminds me. So Pons from the Plague NFT was like, can we coin a new term besides digital collectible? What can we say? And so I said gibbital delectable. I felt like that was an appropriate, spin on it. But it got me thinking though. Gibbets tied with digital collectibles. You see where I'm getting redeemable gibbets.
All right, folks. That's all we have for Ink Tank number 8. I don't even want to try to unpack that. I do not have the kind of skill or brain cells remaining. But everybody likes something, but I definitely like
the sick bird.